What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the #1 comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today I will be doing Married at First Sight. This is season 14. We're on episode 9. And for those who are not familiar with my channel, with Married at First Sight, I do the reviews, recaps, couple by couple. And right now we're going to do Michael and Jasmina. I actually had to take a break from the review because after doing that that Isaac and Katina, I was like emotionally drained. Like it's like really, it's a serious thing, and I guess a lot of us can all relate, from whether we've gone through, let's say, abuse personally, witnessed it through childhood, all those types of things, and it was absolutely triggering. Yeah, so I just had to like kind of take a mental break from that. It was a lot. I could not stand to be around or even witness something like that. I couldn't be around like that, even if it ain't my business. If I'm involved, I mean, I'm not involved, I'm gonna get involved. You can't do that in my presence. All right, so let's get a little more lighthearted with America's favorite couple, Michael and Jasmina. So we see Michael and Jasmina. They go on a romantic picnic. Well, you know it ain't no romance going on between them. They got Mr. Feeney, which is Jasmina's dog, and you can tell that Michael ain't used to having a dog. He was grabbing Mr. Feeney in like some weird places. Go back and check it out. Y'all know I don't really like Michael, but I see everything. I see all the little details people might not see, so I can't help it. But Michael, he really he's making an attempt to win Jasmina over. With the picnic, he bought like presents, but he didn't buy them for Jasmina. He bought it from Mr. Feeney. Jasmina was like, oh, she was excited first thing. She was getting something for her, but Michael gave the presents for her dog, and she liked it because Michael's no fool. He knows that like that's the way to her heart, because Feeney is like, I guess, like her child, and is working. But I think really Michael missed the mark, because at the same time he still could have gave Jasmina a gift, or maybe like some flowers, or like 2 cupcakes like Tori gave Sabrina on Ready to Love. I mean, bring the lady something, because you know we see in different situations, you bring something for the mother, you bring something for the daughter, bring the father something, all that. I mean, bring something. But he just got Feeney, so I guess he gets a halfway point for that. And you know, they are having like a nice afternoon, because normally their interactions are really heavy, or it's a lot of tension going on. But it got back to that like really quick, because Michael really wanted to understand what's the breakdown in their communication with him and Jasmina, because like every time they talk, there's always some kind of misunderstanding. And what I didn't like is like he was communicating this to Jasmina, and she immediately got a tone. She got a tone about him having a tone. Now everybody know I'm a Jasmina fan, meaning like I defend her, because I don't think Michael's the right guy for him. I think he's missing a whole lot to be a husband. Don't think he deserve her. But I'm starting to see the light with Jasmina. Like now we can get to it, because we always dealing with something with him. Because I never thought she was perfect, but I know like his stuff kind of overshadowed her. And she's like, well, the problem I have with you, Michael, it's your tone, the tone that you speaking to me. I'm like, you talking to this man in a tone about a tone, like that don't make no sense. And you know, Michael just kind of sitting back and listening, but you can see he's getting like frustrated with her. And I mean, she just like kept going on and on, and just wouldn't stop with it. Just like she getting on him or chastising him about him having a tone. But then they started to go back and forth, because, you know, little Michael always needs some help. He's like, no, I'm just trying to get you to, and she's like, no, Michael, no, Michael, you need to watch how you talk to me. And you know what? I do get Jasmina. Like, people have different ways of reacting with people when people are aggressive to them. Of course, we know the cast members on this show are unhealed people. So obviously Jasmina had an issue with somebody talking crazy to her in her life, whether it's her parents or in a relationship. So she's like hypersensitive. And I get that. And other people kind of shut down or kind of go within themselves where they just don't want to deal with it. So like you can't even look at Jasmina wrong, and she gonna get a tone with you. So I get that. That's not excusing that, but I understand where she's coming from. She's like, she ain't taking, I guess she took some disrespect or been in an environment she was like so unhappy with. She ain't taking it not one more time. You even act like she said in the last clip. I mean, the episode, she was like, her friend told her, Sam the Shark told her, you know, you don't like no tones, like no. And I get that. I get that because me, I can relate to it. I try not to take tones with people. And if somebody brings to my attention, I'm bringing a tone, I bring it on down because I don't want to present that to you. And I don't want you to present that to me either, because keep that tone to yourself. If we can't have a conversation, let's have it at another time. That's just me. Some people believe, oh, that's natural. But Michael even brought up a good point. He was saying like, I really wasn't taking a tone. You know, she pointed out, well, you annoyed. He's like, yeah, I can be annoyed. I'm a human being. And that's a great point. You have a right to be annoyed, like, because people will irritate you. Anybody will irritate you. So it just depends how you react afterwards. But she don't want him to do nothing. He can't have no type of human emotions and all that. And it was a lot. It was stressing me out. And as I said, the argument kind of kicked off more so that Michael was asking, well, like, how do you want me to talk to you? And she was so in her tone that she couldn't even like really hear what he was saying. I got what he was saying, but at the same time, it's kind of, to me, you know, my opinion on my channel, but it's y'all channel because, you know, I'm about the people. Nobody wants to kind of deal with a person who always needs help. That gets like exhausting. Michael needs you to help him with something. Help me. He needs a sister to help. He needs Jasmina to help. He needs so much help through everything. We all can learn. We all can use some helpful advice, but the older you get, the less help you should need. People in your life who would maybe advise you when you get older, they're more of like your consultants because you're actually making the decisions. They may be able to give you a bit of piece of information that you could use or insight that you cannot see. But all that help me talk to you, help me, you know. And Jasmine was just getting pissed. Like, well, hey, I help you have a conversation? How? I mean, who doesn't know how to have a conversation? They could have both kind of brought them attitudes down. And I'm starting to see like they really one and the same. They're stubborn. They get combative. Michael even kind of brought the thing out. You know, they kind of agreed. They kind of met at a good meeting point where they agreed that they, on the honeymoon, they both got loud. But Jasmina said, hey, like, I wouldn't have gotten loud if you didn't get loud with me first. I get with that too. Same thing with me. I'm on that energy thing. We right here. But if you kind of bringing it up here, I'm kind of going to meet you up there. I'm going to do my best not to get there, but I'm going to get with you up there because that's where you putting it there. Because I make it a point not to be with anybody like that because I don't want you to come at me like that. So I got that. But so now we kind of get more of the story. They both were kind of yelling, but Jasmina said he brought it on first throughout the honeymoon. So, okay, now he admits that he did yell and all of that. So, I mean, just like me, after the argument, Michael turned into Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. He was like, oh my God. I mean, I was like that too. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, whew. Like, he in for it. It was exhausting. I was exhausted just watching him go. And it kind of calmed down. They came to some type of understanding. And that's a good thing about confronting something. You don't really have to argue. Arguing is a choice, but now they have something new where they won't keep tripping over the same thing without knowledge. They both know what's going on. So I got that. I think that was a good conversation in the end, even though it was exhausting. Did anybody notice that Jasmina has like a little brown thing in her eye? Like, I was like, I knew Michael hit her. I knew it. No, let me stop. I can't say that. Allegedly. I ain't gonna say allegedly, but she had a thing in her eye. It's like when people get hit in the eye or poked in the eye. So I hope he wasn't poking her, but I'm sure she would have told us. So let me leave little Michael alone. So, so Michael and Jasmina, they're eating their takeout at home. And we see little Michael eating at the counter and he's spitting his lettuce back into a salad. You know, I see stuff like that. People watch my reviews know I pick out little stuff like that. It ain't just because it's Michael. It's just, I see the stuff. I can't help to see somebody eating their food and they spitting it back on their plate. But okay, that might work for some people. And I guess they go through an exercise that the experts want them to go through and talk about, like, have they ever been in love? And they both playing the spades hand. Jasmina's been in love maybe 3 in a possible. Michael's been in love 1 in a possible. And the mood is like really lightening it up. Because I do like to see that, because they're always so serious. Jasmina is known as Miss No Nonsense, and she always got that face going on, or like something's wrong. I always said, like, I don't think she had nothing to be happy about, but yeah, they have a lighter mood, and I like to see that. Who wants to live in a house where you can't talk and everything's uncomfortable, and every time you might talk, it might be a fight? Who wants that? That's like misery. Nobody wants that. So they just have a conversation about Michael, of course, his struggle with being vulnerable, and really that's the key for him to, like, fall in love. He has to be able to feel comfortable around you where he can be vulnerable. And I get that, because, you know, as we know of his troubled past, of course, him shutting down or not feeling comfortable around a person is not normal. Because I said in my rant about Michael and Jasmina, that, like, this guy, you can see he's like in survival mode. You know, he doesn't know who to trust, who he can open up to. His life has been chaos. And I would just say Jasmina took it and understood it, but she's still, like, really doubtful, because she's saying that Michael planned to be vulnerable with her, but he still didn't do it. So she's like, I'm thinking, you know, maybe it ain't going to happen. And then it showed me, it's like, wow, like, Jasmina always telling me she's so positive. She's just a pessimist, just like Michael already. I'm going to say, give a man a chance, even though he don't have a great track record, but give him a chance to prove you wrong, or give him a chance to improve, because nobody's perfect. And yeah, I'm really starting to see, or we are really starting to see, even though some people have pointed out before, I was like, the stuff that Jasmina got going on, again, was overshadowed by, you know, all that stuff Michael had going on. We don't even really want to go back there. So, hey, maybe they the perfect match. They just alike. Just alike. 2 sisters. No, I'm just playing. I don't want to offend nobody. I don't care. But yeah, but I'm just joking. That's what I'm going to say. So, the guys and the girls, they do a little meetup. The guys are going to, like, this little archery spot, and the girls are going to the a day spa to get pedicures. And Jasmina didn't really contribute too much in the girls group. You know, she suffers from the RBF. She gonna just sit in the room and just look at you. That's what she gonna do for the most part. But Jasmina is really saying that she is open to being vulnerable. That word that Michael uses all the time of just opening up the relationship. And Michael's talking to the guys, and he's saying that they really struggled with communication, because, you know, they don't see eye to eye, but now they have a new focus to really focus on connecting on a deeper level instead of just surface stuff, because it is hard for them to connect. They're always arguing or not talking. So I really get that. But they both agree that if each one of them would be more vulnerable with each other, it's going to make the other person open up. And I totally agree with that. They got to get more comfortable in saying that. So while they at home, when they got back home, Jasmina created, like, an experience for Michael, which I thought was really cool. She created Jasmina's gym with a J, the gym spelled with a J. And it really kind of, like, brought Michael's, like, guard down, because not only, you know, he's into the fitness because he's a trainer, Jasmina is, like, kind of showing that she's making an effort towards him and opening up. She even started touching his muscles and stuff like that. And they just look like they had a lot of fun. And I was really surprised that I thought Michael was going to be overcritical, like, you know, because that's his profession. But he didn't treat it that way. He was there to have fun for the most part, because I don't blame him for not wanting to do some of the things Jasmina was doing in the training. But it was funny. She's funny. They seemed like they could have, like, a lot of fun together. So it's kind of looking promising on this episode, because they did pretty good on the last one. So as far as, like, pretty much their last scene, Jasmina thought up this really good idea, like them being, doing an exercise of like stretching, they would hold hands, and she wanted to explore like Michael's like dealing with his losses, because he's, you know, his he has a lot of deaths in his family. His brother was murdered, his father died, then his mother died, and his grandmother died. So he's just like lost throughout. And I definitely thought it was a good direction, because people say like you can really connect more with a person if you touch them. You'd be surprised, like people who are suffering, if you touch them, like show support, hug them, you place some type of hand on them, they feel the energy, or it calms them a bit. And it did kind of work. You know, little Michael had to stretch his legs out a little long, because Jasmine like, can you open your legs up a little more? Because, you know, his legs a little shorter than hers. But she's holding the hand, and she just want to know, like, just tell me about like your journey or what happened as far as your losses. And he opened up about like his brother was on his way home from working late from like a diner or what have you, and he normally brings like orders of food late at night, but he made it home, but he was actually shot, and he saw him. He was maybe, let's say, 5 or 6 years old. Now this happened, you know, 20 plus years ago, but Michael reacted as if it was still fresh. So I'm like, you can tell like he's really not healed. So I'm gonna say like all those deaths without dealing with them have compiled on each other. It's like he got PTSD, because he was living it. He was crying. He couldn't talk. And Jasmina was surprisingly very comforting to him and like walking him through it. And I really think that in that trauma, or in that very vulnerable period, that they've grown a bit closer. And I do like to see that, if it's going to work, because like I said, their relationship is normally tense. It's not, you know, something that they're sharing. So I think it's really a good start. So again, this is the second episode where I felt like they've had a pretty good episode where they're connecting. You know, it started out a little rough on this one, but I think they got through it and grown. So we're going to see. It just might be hope for America's Favorite Couple. So that pretty much ends that review. As I said, I appreciate y'all keep rocking with me. Y'all know what to do. Please, please, please get down in those comments. I'm going to tell you, the Dub fam did not disappoint on Katina and Largewan, even though I hate what was going on. I mean, we getting some insights, some shared stories and perspectives. I mean, I'm loving it. Like I said, as much as hard it was for me to do it, it was well worth it. Like, people are really getting their stories out, putting their points, and we just getting in. We getting at Isaac, because that's where it need to be. I just can't help to talk about that. But again, appreciate y'all rocking with me. As I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.